I am a big brother. So, when you see your younger brother, doing his thing, maybe pull, pull a little something, something, you just, you tip a hat and you just salute, man. Like, I don't care. It shouldn't matter if the woman is a little older than the little brother, in this case, Jake. It shouldn't matter. You see your brother putting in work, you just gotta tip your hat and salute your young brother. Hey, what's going on, folks? Another episode of Ryan Reviews Everything, and today we are talking about The Shy, Season 7, Episode 6. And out of all the episodes so far, this has to be one of my favorite ones. I really enjoyed how this was shot. It really gave like a nostalgic early 90s feel, and I just couldn't put my finger on why. And then finally, somebody on Twitter, just from scrolling around, it refreshed my memory. It really has a do the right thing look to it, So the way it was shot, the aesthetics about it, just everything about this episode, I thought it was really good. And with that being said, man, if you've seen the channel before, I may not go in chronological order, but I will go with some of the characters that stood out to me the most. And with that said, I have to give the most annoying character in this episode to Reg. Um, Things have just been bad for Jake ever since Reg has been back. Reg is out here. Not only is he out here having Jake robbing ATMs, taking him away from his, self-employed business of selling clothes, he had him running around, stealing money out of ATMs last episode. This episode, Jake is doing his thing, and he pulls a woman that's a little older than him, that's closer to Reg's age, brings her over to the crib, and before you know it, literally Reg is stealing Jake's girl behind his back. I think her name was Tarisha. It's like he's literally paying takeout from Jamal, and behind his back, Reg is spitting game. And I feel like that was foul. I mean, I haven't had this happen to me or whatever, but it's almost like I am a big brother. So, when you see your younger brother doing this thing, maybe pull a little something, something. You just, you tip a hat and you just salute, man. Like, I don't care. It shouldn't matter if the woman is a little older than the little brother, in this case, Jake. It shouldn't matter. You see your brother putting in work, you just gotta tip your hat and salute your young brother. Like, yeah, you just gotta have a proud big brother moment. But instead, Reg turns around and wants to do some hating stuff and literally steals Jake's girl from under his nose. And like most folks, I feel like that kind of was the last straw that broke the camel's back for Jake. You see, they get into a little scuffle. Jake, locks himself in a room because that fight was clearly about to be one-sided. And of course, Trig is in there to save the day, and Jake is now moving in with Trig, aka Victor, which I don't blame him. That had to be the last straw. So good for Jake. Hopefully, with his most recent run-in with Reg, he'll maybe just be his own man under Victor's tutelage. So I'm hoping for that. Speaking of Victor, I thought that was dope. He actually opened up about his experience trying the mushrooms. I really see them getting closer. Vic and Tiff. Hopefully that turns out to be something. Um, and yeah, I think the most annoying character, 1B, or a very close second place, has to go to Alicia, man. I think Alicia, yeah, she's on some vigilante agenda talking about, I want to take out folks who do a lot of senseless killings. And she is adding to the problem. She has, her aim is just as good as Jay Reed from In Too Deep. Shot everybody but the person she meant to hit. Took out poor Jamal, who changed his life around, just delivering food and stuff like that. And to her credit, she at least, I guess, grazed Reg's arm, but that's where it stops. So that was very foul of Alicia. Speaking of Alicia, I thought it was hilarious when Shaad, breaks up with Alicia. I feel like Shaad just expected some sadness from Alicia, and Alicia was just like, "Hey, I felt like this was temporary anyway. Like there was no sadness. No asking explanation for why you want to break up. Alicia took it like a boss and was just like, "Hey, this felt temporary anyway." I thought that was hilarious to me. Yeah, man. But one of my not early predictions. I guess one of my predictions in general. Period. I feel like Officer Trusant or Detective Trusant. I feel like her focus is going to be so hell bent with this tunnel vision with Reg that I feel like Reg could somehow get framed for the murder for the unaliving of Rob, and therefore Reg go into jail or something like that. We definitely see how the plot is thickens. Bakari, who gets approached by Trusant. Clearly, Trusant is like it was Reg that did Robin, wasn't it? And so I feel like that got Bakari's wheels turning as well. It's like this is a way I could, you know, this is a way where I could save Nuck's hide for anybody finding out that Nuck was responsible for Rob, and actually get rid of Reg. I feel like Reg could go to jail for something that he didn't do. I feel like that's a real possibility. I'm trying to think, man. Once again, the exit of Jamal's in this episode was sad. I felt like Vic Mensa did a great job. Um, and I think that I'll end it with this. I think the final thing that I think is starting to be a big problem, as we see in this episode clearly, is Damien's addiction to gambling. Just asked Emmett for 3 racks like it's nothing. I'm sorry, man. $3,000 is $3,000. I don't care how much money you make. So to ask that like it was like you're borrowing $5, yeah, that's a problem. And you can see it. He's up what he had 6,000 in his pocket, blows it all away on a spades game after he was up 6,000, and it was just tragic, man. I feel like that's gonna be a problem. Like if I'm Emmett, I no longer want Damon part of my restaurant business, because you're gonna mess around and the restaurant business end up getting, I don't know, sold in a bet or something crazy like that. So I feel like that's Damien is playing a dangerous game. He's on thin ice. I am curious to see how that plays out in the next few episodes. And yeah, man, I'm really just curious to see how everything else is gonna shape out, man. Once again, I feel like Trusant isn't looking for any other possibility except for Reg, because she has a personal agenda to try to get her son out of jail. And yeah, man, another great episode. I'm liking the feel for it. I'm liking the look of this episode. I really enjoyed the how just the storyline really picked up to me in this episode in particular. Just with this drama with Reg and this detective having a hard on for him. Jake possibly becoming his own man away from Reg. There's just a lot going on in a good way. So let me know what you thought about this episode. Love it or hate it. Peace.